can't turn it?
No. See, watch. You try to turn it. See? Told you.
You need to turn off the orientation lock on your phone.
I don't have the orientation lock on.
Wait. Oh.
Yeah.
Why is it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well then, we're just gonna have to settle for me.
Okay. Hey everybody, it's me, Shaw360, and guess who my guest is that you're looking at? This is my beautiful, talented child who has a grad balloon. Why do you have a grad balloon?
Because I graduated!
Woo! Hard to believe that our baby has graduated. Can you believe it?
I can believe it.
Well, yeah, you can believe it. You're the one who graduated.
I did.
I can't believe I have a child old enough to graduate from high school. That's crazy.
You're old.
You know, yeah, I am old, but like it's the way you say it. It's not that it's not a fact. It's the way that you say it that is so like, why are you so mean? I feel like magic. Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too?
Well, I guess you're not that old.
I'm not young, but I'm not old. I'm just a human. Well, actually, I am old, but I'm just a human, and there's nothing wrong with getting old. Being old is a blessing. Leave me alone. Oh, look, people say congrats. Yeah, we had a party yesterday, and her family came, and my family was there. My grandmother, who's almost 90, was there.
It's wild. People were crying, screaming, throwing up, literally.
Yes, actually, somebody did literally throw up from eating. Somebody did throw up from eating too much cake. It was wild. But we had a good time. It was a good time. But we're not here to talk about graduation.
That's not what it's about.
We're here to talk about The Little Mermaid that we just got through watching today. And for some backstory, The Little Mermaid movie. Oh, hi, it's me. The Little Mermaid movie was one of my favorite movies as a kid. When I was, I think maybe 8 or 9, I think The Little Mermaid came out, because I think The Little Mermaid came out in the late 80s. And at the time, I was a military brat whose dad was in the military in Germany. And we used to not have like cable the way people in America have it. We had access to like public broadcast shows, but we lived in Germany, and so all the shows were in German. I grew up as an American, so I really couldn't watch television like that. I had to depend on VHS tapes, which if you don't know what a VHS tape is, ask he. But VHS tapes were a thing where kind of like DVDs, except for you would record your own like television shows on them. So like you could buy movies already on a VHS, but you could also buy these blank VHSs that are kind of like burn CDs, and you could record television with them. You could make copies of other VHSs, and people used to trade copied VHS tapes so that people could have like a larger library of movies to look at. And one of the VHS tapes we had when I was a kid was The Little Mermaid. I wore that shit out. I knew all of the words to every song. I knew almost all the dialogue word for word. And it has remained one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. It's definitely my favorite of the late 80s, early 90s Disney movies to come out. And so I knew I was going to watch this remake. Just because when I saw the very first teaser where Halle Bailey was singing Part of Your World, I was like, this is it. I have to watch. I have to watch. So I went into the movie with high hopes and low expectations. Because frankly, the press leading up to this movie was not great.
A bit thin.
Yeah, so tell me your impressions of the press. Ooh, sorry, for this movie. This is gonna be a problem. Quit making this a deal.
Anyways. So when I also saw the little wish I could be.
First of all, she sings way better than that.
World. I saw that. And then I also saw the video of the little girl reacting to that, where she's like, "Is it just me or is that Whitney Houston?" Um, but other than that, I didn't see. I saw some promotional pictures, and I'm like, okay. But I wasn't expecting it to be like top tier movie. But once people were like watching it and saying, "Oh, this is good," I'm like, "Oh, now I want to see it because it might actually be really good." Even though I also was a bit judgy because I had seen some pictures of who was gonna play Prince Eric, and I was just like, okay.
Mm. Yeah, an unseasoned choice.
But then I watched the movie and it was pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So
Also, thank you for congratulating me on graduating.
Yes, and congratulations, David, because you also graduated yesterday. So that's amazing. I'm trying to remember if this is your second master's or if this is your doctorate, but I know you're higher
Educated.
I know you're higher education. So big congratulations, because that is a freaking feat.
Educated with a capital E.
Right? So we go to the movie. We're tastefully late. We're late enough to miss every single trailer. Like, literally, we walked into the movie, got in our seat.
The Transformers trailer was playing, but it was halfway over.
It was pretty much all we saw was Antonio Ramos on screen.
Anthony Ramos.
Antonio Ramos.
That's not his name.
Anyway.
It's Anthony Ramos.
Anyway, we saw Anthony Ramos.
Okay.
His name is spelled R-A-M-O-S, Ramos. It's not Ramos. It's not if it was Ramos, it would be R-A-I-M-O-S.
Ramos, though.
But it's not.
Okay.
As someone who has lived around Spanish-speaking individuals, it is Ramos.
It is.
And it should be Antonio instead of Anthony.
But his name is Anthony, not Antonio.
This is like us talking about Ariana Grande's name actually being Ariana Grande. Not even Grande. Grandy.
I'm going to say Grande. I don't care.
Anyway, that boy is apparently whitewashing his own damn name. He's like, yeah, my name's Anthony Ramos. Like, no, it's Ramos. Get into it. Anyway, we got into the theater right when him and the girl from Swarm. Yeah, the girl from Swarm and Mr. Cheat on Your Girl were on the screen right when we walked in. As soon as we put our ass in seats, it was like, okay, time to go into the movie. The first thing that really excited me about this movie, which I don't know what they're going to do to fix this when they put it on Disney Plus, it was not nearly as dark as we had been told it was going to be.
Yeah.
If you watched any of the previews, those previews looked super. Oh, David said I'm right. It says Sam is correct. Ramos. Anyway, take that.
Okay.
But yeah, when you go into the movie, they show a bunch of waves and they show a quote by Hans Christian Andersen that says,
to me was like, "Ooh, you got my feathers ruffled."
I like the quote. The quote was,
it.
because the mermaid cannot cry tears, she is the saddest of all.
Oh yeah, I think.
Yeah. Which I thought was a really pretty quote, because yeah, like, you're already in the ocean, so when you cry.
Did you notice when she was crying in the little bunker thing? You didn't see any tears?
I looked for it after we saw that quote. I'm like, I'm gonna be looking to see every time. The only time we saw her have tears was the very end of the movie when she was a human. So anyway.
Smart.
Yeah. Smart. So anyway, we see that quote, and then after we see that quote, I believe we're underwater immediately. And it was
because of a harpoon.
Yes, because of a harpoon. There is people on this boat who are trying to harpoon what looked to be a dolphin, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's where we are introduced to Prince Eric. We meet Prince Eric before we meet anybody else, and he seems affable enough. Like, there's nothing to write home about. He really did just look like any cut and paste white guy.
True.
Like, when I say affable enough, like, he looked friendly.
Yeah.
He didn't look evil.
I know, it's just like that's a SAT word.
Get into it. So yeah, he looked affable enough, plenty present, plenty pleasant, pretty nice. Then we go underwater, and we are introduced to King Triton and his many multicultural daughters. Questions people are asking. I think you had the first one.
Is it that why does he have so many kids?
Yes.
Yeah, why does he have so many kids?
And why are they all different?
And they're all different, even though you then remember they were talking, and they're like, ever since mom left or ever since mom died. I'm like, so y'all got the same mama?
Yeah, like if they had different moms with the same dad, I'd be like, yeah, y'all are related.
I just want to know, who is this magical mama they got? Like,
that her fallopian tubes carry every egg from every corner of the universe.
Like, I truly want to know, is she like some sort of different sea creature, sea goddess?
And also, this is not saying that everyone needs to be homogenous. Like,
No.
everyone also had different accents and stuff, too. It was just like...
mermaids from all around the world, to be honest. I'm like,
yeah, which I'm down with that. I mean, if you're the king of the ocean, you should have a daughter from the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Gulf of Mexico, you know.
King Triton gets around.
Triton is a god with a godlike figure. Of course, the sea creatures are going to swarm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But apparently it's no same woman. He's not like that. It's one lady. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
So everybody's like, where's Ariel? Where'd Ariel go?
Yeah.
Where is Ariel? Ariel is out collecting sea trash, basically. Ariel is like some hippie ecologist, and she just goes around picking up trash from the bottom of the ocean. And they have what was the first action sequence in the original movie where they're going through the shipwreck and the shark is chasing them. They did that. And I have to say, this scene is what really set up the rest of the movie. Because if they hadn't got this scene right, if the action hadn't been correct, if the pacing hadn't been correct, if it didn't set up enough like anticipation and anxiety for what's going to happen, then this movie would have failed. Because already we have these big expectations from having been familiar with the original movie. We're expecting certain things to happen. This shark chase scene was a scene that happened in the original movie. So we're like, can they keep up with the amount of buildup and action that we saw in the original Little Mermaid? They absolutely did. Like, it really was like, quick paced, very clear to tell what was going on action wise. Flounder, even though he does look like a real fish, it didn't throw you off. Once they started moving and going, Flounder being flat the way he was didn't really make things bad. It actually was okay that he looked like a real fish. Sebastian looking like a real crab didn't throw you off. He looked good.
People just wanted to complain. Because, like, I remember when people were giving their think pieces talking about, why is Ariel's hair red enough? Why does Sebastian look like this? Why does Flounder look like this? You're complaining to complain, is my opinion.
I thought they looked good. I thought the pacing for the action sequence was really good. I thought the way that they escaped from the shark was really good. Overall, I really super enjoyed that action sequence, and it really made me anticipate the rest of the movie. So, after we get that sequence, and Ariel has talked to her dad about whatever the hell they talk about, that's when she goes back to her cave of treasure troves, and this is where we get to probably the part of the movie that gave me goosebumps, gave me tears, gave me just everything. We're in the cave of her treasure troves, and she starts Part of Your World. This is a song I know every lyric to. This is a song that, like, little me used to sit up in the living room and scream at the top of my lungs. Like, this is my childhood. If I could,
was mouthing the words in the theater.
yes, because this movie meant so much to me as a little kid. Even though Ariel was not black, there were no black princesses when I was coming up. But I think the thing. Okay, let me get on a tangent here.
Sure.
The original lyricist for The Little Mermaid was Howard Ashton. I think it's
I think so.
I think it's Howard Ashman,
Or Asher.
and he was a gay man. And he wrote Little Shop of Horrors. He wrote Beauty and the Beast. He was the lyricist for both.
Howard Ashman.
Ashman, Howard Ashman. And, you know, as a black woman, I have felt a lot of kindred spirit with gay men throughout my life. And I think the reason why I felt such a kindred nature with a lot of gay men in my life and have always had like gay friends and things like that is because that idea of being a minority and wishing that there was a level of societal acceptance that you could have that you don't necessarily get, and constantly like verbalizing that desire and that wish. I felt that since I was very little, and to have somebody who has gone through that same desire for something that's just kind of beyond the distance, untouchable, unreachable, even as a small child, and I mean like 8, 9 years old, even as a small child, I could identify with the idea of like, I just wish I could have more. I wish my world was bigger. I wish I could have these different experiences. I wish the world would open up to me and allow me to explore it instead of having to be here with my mom and my dad and my parents telling me what to do. And, you know, some kids not wanting to play with me because I'm a black kid, and some black kids saying you sound too white. And just, you know, feeling like a sense of isolation when all I want to do is just be a part of the bigger world around me. And so, even just as a small child, part of your world just meant everything to me. And watching Halle Bailey sing it, first of all,
Sing her heart out.
her voice is beautiful. She has got an absolutely gorgeous voice. I have to believe that she's somewhat classically trained because, like, she has the most beautiful, crystal clear notes. Not a heavy vibrato at all. It's just full belted tones, and her voice is so big but also light as a feather. It just floats along the melody. And that's exactly what the original Ariel did. The original Ariel had this beautiful kind of like fairy princessy voice, and Halle has it, except for it's also like at the very end, the wish I could be, that soulful part there, tears. Like tears, chills, goosebumps. The part that gave me the goosebumps the most is the fire.
Yeah.
That
No,
part,
that part leading up to the end
yeah.
where she was, you could tell her, like it was the part of the song where like we're jogging now.
Mhm.
You know, like how songs have like, kind of like how books have the I don't know, the, what is it called? The inciting incident, then the rising action, climax, resolution. It went that way in the song. When we get to the rising action up to the climax, we're like, okay, now we're running. We're running to the. She got a new kind of like oomph in the voice. You
Yeah.
could, even though it was still very like light, but it was like she had a little bit more passion. But like instead of like the fire, she's like fire and burn. Like it was great, and I was like, oh.
Like
That's good. That's good.
like that's literally my favorite lyrical part in that entire song, and I've been listening to this song now for like, gosh, 30 years. But the part where she goes, what is a fire and why does it, what's the word, burn, is it my turn? Even thinking about it, like I can feel chills creeping up my skull.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Like, you literally have no idea. That is everything to me. It's everything to me. And so, like, yeah, I cried a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Tears were shed.
Yeah.
A nigga was in their feelings. Shed a thug tear or two. But yeah, like, there's just something very powerful about the idea of, you know, stating your desire so plainly. Because I think a lot of people in life are afraid to acknowledge the thing that they want. Sometimes it's hard to acknowledge the thing that you want because you're ashamed of it. Sometimes it's hard to acknowledge the thing that you want because you would feel hopeless thinking that it could never happen. And sometimes it's hard to tell the thing that you want because you actually just don't know. Like, you know it's something, but you don't know specifically what it is. And just being kind of lost is scary because the people around you seem to have a plan. The people around you seem to know what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. Everyone seems to have more of their life together than you do. And so it's hard to just say, like, I know I want something, I just don't know what it is. So, beautiful song. Now the rest of the movie goes on, and this is where we start to get into some of the parts that aren't so great. So the so
I'm sorry. That was very funny.
I'm just saying it's true though. Some of this is not so great.
Yeah.
So we see the same boat that Prince Eric was on. There's fireworks happening. She swims up to the surface, and she sees kind of everyone dancing, having a good time. She meets the dog. Things are going good when all of a sudden the storm waters start to rise. The ship is rocky. The ship is headed towards, I guess, I don't know what you, like a rock formation?
Yeah.
Like just all of a sudden a rock
I'm
formation.
like, they gonna die.
Yeah, not an iceberg, just a rock formation. And not only does the ship crash into the rock formation, the beach catches on fire in the middle of a thunderstorm. It's wild.
Fire.
No, no.
We gotta go! Jump off the ship in the background. It's like,
Yeah,
fire.
yeah. And then somewhere in the background you hear Taeyong from NCT going, anyway. It's like, dude, no fire truck is coming out here. But anyway, yeah, like literally the set of Adele's Las Vegas review is going on right here. There's like fire to the rain.
Oh, that's true.
So you're there like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Like, you're literally
scary.
It is. They're on a boat that has shipwrecked into a rock.
I was surprised
Their boat is breaking in half. It is pouring down rain. The water is choppy, and all their shit is alight. Huge flames. So it's either drown or burn to death. There's no other choice. It's wild. It's wild. Big action. Big action. So anyway, Prince Eric goes to rescue his dog. He manages to rescue the dog, but he ends up.
Ariel rescues the dog.
He got the dog off the boat. Remember,
Yeah.
he threw the dog into the water. Because Ariel helped push the dog onto the lifeboat, but he threw the dog in the water. But in doing so, he's trapped on the boat, gets hit in the head, falls overboard, is about to die. Ariel rescues him, pulls him on shore, and does the thing that happened in the original movie where she is singing to him her siren song, which I guess her siren song has the power to resuscitate people and do like
So was he
touchless
dead?
CPR. It kind of feels like it might have been.
So was he dead?
But she starts singing Part of Your World reprise, right? He hazily gets a look at her face. But it's like super clouded. He can basically see the shadow outline of her hair and like her shoulders, but he can't really get a good look at her face.
Even though I feel like I could tell the tone of her skin was.
I feel like you could too.
I saw this.
So
that's how you know I'm looking for a girl. She might be black.
I think I noticed some dreadlocks.
I think I noticed some dread.
That's the thing. In the shadow, you can see her dreads. In the shadow, you could see her dreads. So I'm just like, well, we know she's black. Like, there's anyway. So after that, he's obsessed. He's like, Mom, I gotta find this girl. I gotta get on a boat. I gotta go island to island. I gotta search shore to shore. I gotta find my girl because she's everything to me. She saved my life. Also, she's like dead sexy, beautiful voice. This is where I asked my first question that I had never asked myself as a kid growing up watching The Little Mermaid. Was Eric obsessed with Ariel because she saved his life and because she had a nice voice? Or was he obsessed with Ariel because she sang her siren song?
And he was enchanted by the sirens.
Because if you've ever read, is it the Odyssey is the one that's the war, or is it the Iliad? It's the Iliad, right? Is the war between the Odyssey and the Iliad?
The main story follows the great Greek warrior Achilles. That's the Iliad.
Okay.
So the Odyssey might be the
So the Odyssey should be the one where it's the guy trying to get home to his wife.
Odyssey. I spelled Odyssey wrong. Main story of the Odyssey. Odysseus'
Yeah.
10-year struggle
Okay.
to return home after the Trojan War.
Look at me remembering the classics, even though I haven't read them in years. So in the Odyssey, Ulysses is trying to get home to his wife. And there is a scene where they talk about the sirens and how the sirens use their voices to lure men into crashing their boats and creating shipwrecks. And so, with that being said, with Ariel using her siren powers to help bring him back to life, you have to wonder, was Prince Eric obsessed with Ariel because of her voice, because of its siren power, or did he fall in love with Ariel's voice because he thought her voice was pretty and because she saved his life? And
I think it would be cooler if it was because of the siren power.
well, we think it's a siren song because later on when Vanessa shows up, he doesn't realize why he's agreeing to things.
Ooh, juicy!
Right. So siren song. So Ariel wants
Like
to
catnip to men, apparently.
yeah. So Ariel wants to go and visit Eric upstairs because Ariel's never seen a man with two legs before. She's obsessed. Uh, she loves feet. She has a big feet kink.
Oh my god.
She does. She seriously is into feet. So she wants to be with him. However, her dad has a big beef with humans. His beef being humans killed his wife. We aren't told how humans killed his wife. We have to assume she was harpooned in the back because the beginning of the movie.
She was skewered like a kebab.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned this, but it looked like they were trying to harpoon a dolphin. No, them motherfuckers on that boat thought that they were harpooning for mermaids. They even said so. So that's why I have to think that maybe her mother was harpooned in the back or something. Anyway, her father's like, I don't want you going up there no more. You need to leave these fucking humans alone. They are no good. They killed your mother. They are just a bad society full of bad actors. They pollute the ocean. Fuck them guys. And Ariel's like,
Climate
you
change
don't understand. Eric is different. Not all colonizers are evil. And her dad shows up to her bedroom where she is, keeping all of her teenage treasures, her diaries, her little locket with a piece of hair in it.
And completely just
Yeah. Her dad's got a trident and is just exploding the place, busting up rocks. He breaks Prince Eric's statue. He's destroying her room. Imagine a 90s teen movie where the dad is tearing the posters off the wall and throwing everything off the desk. That's what he's doing.
The scene in Brave where the mom threw her bow and arrows in the fire.
Right, it's bad. So Ariel is despondent, and this is where Ursula the sea bitch comes in. So Ursula, when I was a kid, obsessed. Ursula was a big old drag queen. This was before I knew what drag queens were. I was officially obsessed. Ursula has one of the best songs in all Disney movies, Poor Unfortunate Souls.
What a great song.
You poor unfortunate souls, so sad, so...
Can you hear the camp in the song, in the lyrics?
Yes, it's so good. It's so good. But Ursula is the sister of King Trident.
Even though I remember in the original movie, wasn't she in love with him though?
No, she wasn't in love with him.
Or they were exes or something.
I don't think that they had a relationship in that, a romantic
she
relationship.
She was salty with him for some reason, but they weren't related.
Well, she felt like his power should have been hers. Yeah, which she does in this movie. But Ursula the Sea Witch, she is the sister of King Trident. We do not know why they fell out, but whatever fucking happened, girl is pissed. She's mad. She wants revenge, and she decides she's gonna take it out on Eric.
She was his sister in the original. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so sister. Hi Mason. So King Trident, Ursula, they got beef. and she decides what better way to get back at somebody than through their children, also known as my nieces and nephews.
Oh, that's true.
Which, yeah, like
I was trying to kill her niece.
yeah, like this bitch had no bars. She's just like, me and your dad aren't even close like that, so I don't know what kind of relationship you think that we have, but no, I'm willing to use you to get what I want. So Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. Let's talk about the fact that a lot of people really wanted Lizzo to play Ursula. I don't think that would have been a good choice. And I don't say that because I don't think that Lizzo could have done it. I think she absolutely could have done it. I think Lizzo has the voice to carry out Poor Unfortunate Souls. The reason I don't think that Lizzo would have been a good choice for this one is because there's a theme that I kind of feel in this movie. And I feel like the I agree. I don't think we really cared about the trading issues that Prince Eric was trying to solve for his kingdom. I know, but I'm just saying, like, I really didn't care about the reason why he wanted to leave home. But I feel like there, I don't know if this is intentional or not, so I'm not going to say for sure. There was a lot of, like, Prince Harry, Princess Meghan kind of things going on.
That.
And I kind of feel like having, like, Ursula as the bad girl, an older white lady as the bad guy kind of matches with kind of the royal drama-esque of the whole thing.
Ooh, true.
So I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's on the wrong side, but I dig it. But yeah, I think that she was good as Ursula. I think she sounded almost identical to the Ursula from the cartoon. Like, seriously, it was. Yeah. There were a lot of times where I was like, did Melissa McCarthy like train herself to sound like the original Ursula? But recently there has been some discussion about the makeup. And a lot of people were upset because she didn't have her skin painted purple, but once you saw the movie and the way that they the lighting made her seem purple, so she didn't need to have purple makeup. But I agree with everyone else when they say her makeup was not dramatic enough. Like, her makeup looked like the kind of makeup that Mimi from the Drew Carey show used to wear. I don't know if anybody ever used to watch the television show, The Drew Carey Show. Drew Carey is the host of The Price is Right currently. But he used to have a show called The Drew Carey Show, and their theme song was Cleveland Rocks. And there used to be a character on that show named Mimi. And Mimi used to wear, like, really bright blue eyeshadow and really red lipstick. And I feel like the makeup they did for Ursula was more like a Mimi style of makeup than a Mimi I'm First style of makeup, if you know what I'm saying. It should have veered more into the drag. And when people were discussing the makeup artist not being a queer person and not leaning into the drag of the moment, they were like, I don't see why I can't do makeup as good as a queer person. And I don't necessarily believe you have to be a queer makeup artist to be able to do Ursula's makeup, because the character is a cisgendered woman in the movie, even though the character is based on a drag queen named Divine, who is a queer movie icon. If you've never seen the original Hairspray by John Waters, not the musical, but the original one from the 80s, get into it. Anyway, I'm digressing hardcore here. The original Ursula was based on a queer artist named Divine, who was a drag queen, and the character design was literally based after the way that Divine did their makeup. So taking queer influences into consideration to do a more glam, gaudy, showy, stage kind of makeup for Ursula would have made the most sense, because that's who Ursula is. She's a bigger than life character. She's got bigger than life designs. At one point, she literally is like huge. Like, she's bigger than a boat. Like, she's huge. So I don't know why it was like, there's nothing drag about this makeup. Why does that distinction have to be made? Why are you proud of the fact that there's nothing drag about this makeup when you should want there to be tons of drag to this makeup? Because really and truly, rather than casting Lizzo, the very brave choice would have been to cast a drag queen as Ursula. True. Like, we
you know who had the dramatic villain makeup though? The evil queen from Enchanted, because Enchanted is that girl. But I digress.
She sure did. Okay, so Ursula knows that Ariel's feeling some type of way. Her dad just destroyed her bedroom, read her diary, everything is bad. So she's like, girl, come to my house. Let me talk with you for a minute. I might be able to help you. You know, I am your auntie after all. I can do things for you. So she's like, we are going to cast a little magic. I can give you some legs. But in exchange, you need to give me your voice and your mermaid powers. Now, the other bit of controversy about this whole thing is the fact that they took away the whole, and don't forget the power of body language. Okay, in the original Poor Unfortunate Souls, there is a moment where Ariel is questioning the idea of giving her voice over to Ursula because she's like, I don't know if he knows who I am, but I did sing to him, so I might need my voice to be able to get him to recognize me. And Ursula's explaining, like, listen, men don't want to hear bitches talking. They don't want to know what's on your mind. They want you to be cute, they want you to be demure, and they want you to be sexy. And that's where the whole body language part comes in.
Body language.
They didn't just take away the body language. They talked about everything about, you know, you have your looks, your pretty face. They took that part totally away too. And so I don't think that they could have kept body language if they took the other parts away, because that wouldn't have made sense. But I think there is a feminist theme to this a little bit, and I don't think the body language, you have your looks, your pretty face.
And
I
don't
don't think
underestimate the importance of body language.
I don't think that would have all gone together if they had left it in there.
The men up there don't like a lot of blabber.
Sing it.
The men up there don't like
Sing
a lot.
it.
I can't. I don't remember the way
The
it goes.
men up there don't like a lot of blather. They think a girl who gossips is a bore. Yet on land it's much preferred for ladies not to say a word. And after all, dear, what's a little idle prattle for? Come on, they're not all that impressed with conversation. True gentlemen avoid it when they can. But they dote and swoon and fawn on a lady who's withdrawn. It's she who holds her tongue who gets a man.
She snapped with that.
So, saying all that, like they took that whole section out about how men want a bitch who's better seen and not heard. Yeah. And I know I'm not being very feminist by saying a bitch who's better seen and not heard. But you know, I'm just saying that is the spirit of the conversation essentially. So Ariel, being the dumb bunny she is, decides she's going to give up her voice so that she can get her a man. And then something totally freaky happens. Now, I don't remember feeling this way about it in the original, but when the smoke from the cauldron goes into the air to steal Ariel's voice,
it looks like tentacles going in her mouth and her orifices.
It looks a lot like tentacle porn. A lot like tentacle porn. I was like, what kind of hentai is this? Ah! And I'm not one who looks for that shit. If you live on the internet, you've seen it before.
To me, the part that was like very is the part. Okay, so you know how in the original Little Mermaid she signs a little thing in gold ink or whatever, and then she pulls one of her fins off.
Yes. So you know Ariel's a fish, right? Yeah. She pulls a scale out of her tail and there's blood on it and she drops that into the pot. So it's a blood oath that she makes with the witch to
so
be
it
able
can't be broken.
Yes. Now this is where me and my daughter disagree. The witch tells her you have 3 days to get Prince Eric to kiss you. Another change that they made was that Ariel is not allowed to Ariel is unable to remember that she needs to get a kiss. I do not remember that being a clause in the original movie, and it kind of pissed me off that that became a clause in this movie because I'm like, why are we making this that fucking difficult? It was hard enough just to get Eric to like make a move because he's a prince and he's trying to be a gentleman, much less being like, oh, by the way, she can't remember that she wants to be kissed. It didn't really add much to it other than just being like, this is an impossible task. There's no way this girl's going to get this done 3 days and she can't remember the mission she's on. But also, like, I question whether or not we actually got through the 3 days. My daughter says that we did. I don't think that we did unless she spent one day alone just to like do nothing but traveling.
No, because the first day she got there, that counted as the first day.
Okay, so the first day she got there and she met Prince Eric, didn't she go into his study?
Mhm.
And then the very next day they went on the tour. So yeah, I guess she
Yeah.
woke up on the third day and that's when Vanessa showed up.
Mhm.
Anyway, she gets the legs. She gets caught by a fisherman in his net, just like the original movie. They take her to the palace. When she gets to the palace, they clean her up. And I forgot to mention, I can't believe I skirted past this. Remember, I was telling you that the prince was obsessed with Ariel, was looking everywhere for her.
Mhm.
Prince Eric has a song called
Wild
Uncharted.
uncharted waters.
Girl, this song is so fucking lame. This song is so fucking lame. It's like a adult contemporary ballad type of song,
Mhm.
and it's just the lyrics are like real corny. They're just a little too on the nose. He's out there singing while running downstairs, and
Looking like Troy Bolton.
yeah, well, okay. There's a scene later on where he's sitting on a beach grasping a fistful of sand, and I'm like, okay, this is a great time for us to just go into full on bet on it. Like I would have howled if we had been in the movie and all of a sudden he said, "It's no good at all to see yourself and not recognize your face." That would have been hilarious. But as it stands, he sings a song about uncharted territory because they have to give Prince Eric a song because this is a musical. We're doing a musical. But yeah, like that song was fucking lame. So she ends up at the palace. Prince Eric meets her. She doesn't have a voice. Instead of thinking, because the people at the palace are like, oh, this poor girl, she got caught in a fisher's net. She doesn't have a voice. We don't know where she's from, who she is, but she was like washed out to sea, so she's been through a lot, right? Prince Eric meets her. Because she can't talk, he's like, oh, this is no way the girl that I was looking for, because the girl I was looking for could talk. My thing is, everyone else recognizes it would be traumatic to be found swimming in the middle of the ocean and being caught in a fisherman's net. Maybe something traumatic happened to this girl that stopped her from speaking. Prince Eric never goes there. Like, his mind never goes to, like, yeah, this girl may have gone through something since she got caught in the middle of the ocean and that's why she has trauma and can't sing. Instead, it's like, nope, the girl who helped me has a beautiful voice. This can't be her. So anyway, after that happens, and he's kind of like, I'm not interested in her because she's not the girl who rescued me. She ends up going into his study. He sees her in his study, and she shows him how one of the rocks he has is actually a geode. She shows him how to blow on a shell to make a horn, and they slowly start to fall for one another. And to me, that particular set of scenes was my favorite part of the movie. Where, well, besides Part of Your World, yeah, Part of Your World will always be the best, but where they are getting to know each other, and like he sees that she's interested in things that he's interested in. She wants to hear his story. She shows him things without being able to speak to him. I really, really enjoyed them establishing what it is about each other that makes them fall in love. And then the next day, they go on their outing to the town, and he lets her drive his horse, which in the movie, the original movie, I remember that happening, but it was cartoon, so it didn't feel high stakes. In the live action, this girl who literally only ever walked a couple of days ago, he has her steer the horse and buggy. She almost kills several people. Like, she's not a good driver because she's never driven before. She's never ridden before, honestly. But they make it to town, they go through the village, there's all these different people, and she's starting to feel like, oh wow, this is what it's like to live on land and experience the culture. And he's also enchanted with her because she's experiencing everything for the first time, and he's getting to see the world through her eyes, which makes it super charming and lovely. So after they've danced in the village and bought hats and had fun, we get to my second favorite song out of the entire Little Mermaid movie. Also, I didn't talk about Under the Sea because I actually literally hate that song. I'm so sorry, you guys. I hate Under the Sea, and I'm not afraid to say it because I think that anybody who was a kid in the 90s understands why I hate that song.
Under the sea.
Disney has a habit of finding songs and using them to death. When Under the Sea came out, every Disney resort commercial that came on television used Under the Sea. And Disney used to have like these like seaside resorts that had like aquariums and stuff, and they would have these kids walking under these huge aquariums while Under the Sea played. I must have heard that song at least 400 times in my childhood. I am permanently scarred. I don't ever want to hear Under the Sea again. Daveed Diggs does a great job with Under the Sea. He's very, very talented. I can see why he gets utilized for so many things, but I hate that fucking song. So, yeah, couldn't be bothered. Also, they took out the song where Sebastian the Crab is running for his life through the kitchen because the chef wants to kill him. It wasn't needed. I'm fine with that being out of the movie. But yeah, they do Kiss the Girl, which again, my second favorite
Kiss
song.
the girl.
And this is where having Aquafina play Scuttlebutt really got on my fucking nerves. So
That's got all my.
Aquafina, Aquafina is an actress, and she gets a lot of roles, movie looks from the Disney Corporation. She's been in one of the Marvel movies. She has been in Raya, the last
Dragon.
yeah. So she's gotten some looks from Disney for sure. She has the most annoying voice. Really and truly, she does. And the beginning of Kiss the Girl has Scuttle the bird, which Aquafina plays a bird.
I don't know why I felt like it did.
But it has Aquafina squawking annoyingly at Ariel and Prince Eric. And it was even more annoying than it was in the original. In the original, when the bird was like, wah, 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 Prince Eric makes the comment, I think that bird's dying. And I wanted them to make that comment with Aquafina, but they did not. But it was fucking awful. It really was just terrible. But they get into Kiss the Girl, and it's really pretty and romantic, and I'm really happy about it. And then Flotsam and Jetsam overturn the boat, and Ursula realizes she has to do something about this. So the very next day, Scuttle the bird comes into Ariel's room and is like, have you heard the
That's
prince?
got all my.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is a musical crimes villain, and he needs to be arrested for what he's done. They wanted a new song, something different to make up for pieces of songs that were extracted to fill out the running time. Perhaps they have Aquafina rapping a song about "Have you heard the scuttlebutt?" And it is so horrible. I think. Turn that shit off. Turn it off. Turn it off before I get a copyright claim. Turn it off before I get annoyed. Have you heard the scuttlebutt? Oh my gosh. Her voice is already annoying. I just want you to know, Aquafina, there is a good chance you will not see heaven because you have really done it this time. You have done it this time. I hated it. I absolutely fucking hated it. So they sing this horrible, terrible Lin-Manuel Miranda rap.
Okay, I didn't think it was okay. It was bad, but I didn't think it was terribly bad.
I thought it was just disgusting. I thought it was disgusting. Anyway, they sing this song basically saying that Prince Eric has met a woman and he's gonna marry her. But nobody knows the name of the woman he's gonna marry. Turns out he's gonna marry a chick named Vanessa who just happens to have the singing voice that Ariel had. You know why? Because it's fucking Ursula in disguise. This bitch has magic potions that allow her to like have a sexy body. She uses Ariel's voice to convince Prince Eric that she is the person who rescued him on the beach. Not only that, but as you recall, Ariel's voice is a siren song voice, so she also uses it to convince Prince Eric, we need to get married tomorrow immediately. Everyone needs to know we're together because you love me so much. And Prince Eric, even though he still wants Ariel, still is looking for her, still feels feelings about Ariel, he is like, I've got to marry Vanessa because her siren song is compelling him to do so. And so the day of the wedding comes, and Ariel is trying to break up the nuptials and gets in a like actual cat
They get
fight.
to scrapping! They get to scrapping! And I was like, ooh, the girls are fighting! They're tumbling, they're rolling. And for a second I'm like, is she trying to strangle? Because she is gripping that necklace! And I'm like, that's right. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see in a movie. She just like, give me my necklace. Pushes her. She's like, ugh. And then she's like, smash. I was like,
So then Ariel's voice escapes this necklace that Ursula had her voice trapped in. The voice of Ariel floats through the air for several very long seconds before it decides to reside in Ariel's throat. And then she sings her siren song. Prince Eric realizes, oh, you were the girl all along. I'm so glad to hear that because I kind of liked you anyway. And they go for a slow motion kiss. Like this is Eric, this is Ariel. I was like, we have a time limit here, guys. Let's go. So they don't make it in time, and Vanessa is like, ha ha, bitch, I got you now. And her deal with Ariel was that if Ariel didn't get the kiss, then Ariel would belong to the Sea Witch. So she takes Ariel down into the ocean and is prepared to do what? We don't know. Because in the original movie, Ariel gets turned into like a piece of seaweed.
yeah, that's what I thought.
In this movie, she's just Ariel, but she's like held captive. Her dad comes and is like, hey, let my daughter go. And Ursula's like, you know that she did a blood oath and you cannot break a blood oath. So this girl belongs to me now. And Prince Trident, or King Trident, is like, you know what? You can have my trident if it'll set free my daughter. And then Flotsam and Jetsam grab King Trident and
electrocute that man to death. Electric chair.
yeah, they electrocuted him to death. Like he starts to shrivel up, his scales start to fall off, his skin turns gray.
Burnt.
He looked like he was burned from the inside out. I'm like, was this in the original? This is very scary and creepy and not fun. So after that, Ursula seemed like she was about to forget about Ariel, and then Ariel's like, you can't have my father's trident. And that's when Ursula's like, oh, I forgot I have to deal with you too. So she's about to harm Ariel. Here comes Prince Eric diving into the sea, harpooning Ursula. Ursula is pissed. She doesn't like that. She aims her trident at Prince Eric, accidentally fries Flotsam and Jetsam, her pet eels. That makes her even more mad. That bitch said, oh no. And she all of a sudden swells into this monstrous size. Now, she did this in the original, but this is probably the only time I had to complain about some of the visuals. When she blows up, they obscure her face. Like it's a scene that takes place at night anyway, but her face
they make her Cthulhu.
Yeah, but they like obscure her face to where you can't really see like her facial features. You can tell that she's become a more monstrous being. It looks like she has gills on her face maybe. But yeah, like she's very obscured. It's very dark. It's very stormy. I don't know why Prince Eric did not drown in this huge fucking storm.
No, he was getting hit by tsunami waves, y'all. Tsunami. Okay. I don't know if you've ever been in the ocean. I haven't. Not me. But it's already kind of hard enough. You know, like when you were a kid and you were like just learning how to swim a little bit, and you'd go into the deep end, and the deep end would be like manageable, but you'd still be kind of like having to cough up water every couple seconds because you know you couldn't swim that well, and all your friends were in the deep end, and you wanted to join them in the deep end to play mermaids, but you weren't as good as swimmers as them, so you were kind of having to cough up pool water every couple of seconds. Imagine that, but in full scale and big waves, by the way, with force, baby, because that's how physics works, hitting you constantly. This man didn't pass out and die?
Seriously. So she's doing like, she's making a whirlpool and it dredges up these old ships, and they follow basically the old cartoon where the ship gets steered by Ariel, and the broken mast of the ship stabs Ursula to death. Ariel recovers the trident, uses the trident to resurrect her dad. Her dad is alive. All's well with the world, except for the fact that her dad's like, you need to come home. So Prince Eric is on shore, lovesick for Ariel, wants to be with her even though he knows she's a fish. And Ariel is down at the bottom of the sea, wishing she had legs again so he can climb between them. And her dad is like, I don't know why my daughter's so upset. She's been so depressed lately. What could I have done different as a father to make her not as depressed? And our buddy Sebastian comes in and says, well, you could give her some legs so she could get with her man. And that's exactly what King Trident does. He gives her legs. Her and Eric reunite. There is a wedding ceremony. They decide to sail the world, searching new kingdoms and new lines of trade for their island, which we don't know what island. We did not talk about this. We're going to talk about in a moment about the historical context of this. But King Trident comes above the water to wish Ariel well as she leaves. Now, in cartoons, people look the same both above and below the water. Nothing changes except
Water
for maybe
isn't real
the
in
hair
cartoons.
floating, right? In this movie, all of the actors who have on makeup, who come out of the ocean,
They look what?
They look like drowned rats. They look terrible. Javier Bardem, who plays King Trident, has a prosthetic beard and a prosthetic wig, like a fake hair wig, and it looks matty. It looks kind of dirty. It looks super fake. And he's got makeup on top of that. He looked terrible. A lot of the mer people looked terrible when they came out of the ocean. But yeah, the mer people are on the shore waving Ariel and Eric goodbye. Ariel cries one single tear, and away they go to adventures, places unknown. There was one merman, when you watched the movie,
you couldn't see his face, just his six-pack.
Seriously, I was like, I hadn't been noticing a lot of people's bodies in this movie, but when that guy came out the ground, I was like, whoa, hey, six-pack in the house. Now let's talk about historical context, because this was something that really made the movie for me in terms of like heightening my level of enjoyment. So we're told that Prince Eric is
that person just fell off their skateboard.
Yeah, they ate it. We're told that Prince Eric is the prince of an island nation. We're not given the name of the island nation ever, but based on the costuming, based on the brown people, based on Sebastian having a Caribbean accent, we think that either he is the Prince of Jamaica or he's the Prince of maybe Hispaniola. But he's a prince of one of these Caribbean islands.
Well, I'm thinking because the queen is black, and she adopted him.
Yes.
So it could be Jamaica.
Could be. But I say all that to say, we get the impression that this is a person who is the king or queen of an island nation in the Caribbean. He has been traveling back and forth to several different parts of South America. The clothing suggests that we're talking about the late 1700s, early 1800s, around the time that Alexander Hamilton might have been leaving his particular island. And Prince Eric is white. The girl who plays Ariel is black. The girl who plays Vanessa is white. And there is a lot of kind of undertones of them kind of alluding to shit that's going on in England with their royal family. Especially because at one point when Prince Eric is guessing names, he guesses the name.
Work it, girl. Oh my God.
What happened?
Look at that bird just walking, strutting.
I can't flip the camera to show you.
I love watching birds walk from the back because they just strut their stuff.
Yeah, the bird is shaking its hips. It's hilarious. But yeah, at one point when he's guessing names for Ariel, he's like, is your name Diana? Is your name Catherine? It's a little close to the quick, guys. I don't think that the Little Mermaid's going to do big numbers in England. It's a little much. It's a little much. But I did appreciate that they did that, because honestly, I think that when you're telling stories that have used cultural characters, I'll put it that way, like Sebastian's definitely Caribbean coded. if we're gonna do that, we need to have a reason why they're there. Like, it didn't make sense for Sebastian, the Jamaican crab, to be in the middle of Denmark helping the Little Mermaid out with her European prince. But it makes a lot more sense for a white prince to show up in a mostly people of color colony island, and there be a Jamaican crab as one of the main characters, because they are in a colonized island nation. Also, the fact that Ariel has kind of an American accent, Prince Eric has a British accent. It was mostly the British and the Spanish who colonized that area.
I have a theory. I have a theory. So his parents are like these white British people, right? And they're on their way to the Americas, right? They might go for a pit stop at Jamaica, who knows, to check out the trades going on. They crash, and somehow Eric survives and his parents don't. He ends up on the island, and the queen takes him in.
Yeah. Also, there's another character in the movie who's like a manservant to Prince Eric, and he looks to be of Indian descent, like from India.
Mhm.
And of course, if you're familiar with food from the Caribbean, there's curries, there's roti, there's a lot of Indian influenced food in the Caribbean. So I really do like how it laid the groundwork for having all of these different types of people from all of these different backgrounds being there. Because one thing that really irks me about diversity conversations that we have when it comes to popular media, number one, I get tired of the fact that people act like being diverse is some kind of political agenda, when being diverse is just literally the way the world fucking functions. And I say that because we literally just got through having a graduation where it was my black mother, my black brother, his white girlfriend, their biracial children. Like, our family has all kinds, and it wasn't done for some political reason. It's just the way things fucking happened. But in our family, in that room, you probably had 13 or 14 different shades of brown. Like, all the way from palest pale white looking brown all the way to the chocolatiest deepest brown where the moles are almost the same color as their face. And so that's just the way our world is. But when you're going to have diversity, it really is nice to like say why it's there.
Yeah.
Like, it's diverse because this is a diverse community. It's diverse because this is that section of town. It's diverse because of A, B, C, or D. Instead of just like, it's diverse for diverse sake. Because
That's why people don't like it when like you watch movies that are set in about the modern day in like big cities like New York, LA, Chicago, but then you look around and like the whole cast except for a couple people and like all the extras are white.
yeah. You know, like, I love Sex and the City as a television show, but there weren't nearly enough black people for it to be a show that took place in various parts of New York. Especially parts of New York where the main character, Sarah Jessica Parker, is a former club kid party girl. So she should have known lots of black people, Latin people, queer people. They all should have been a part of her retinue. But she didn't have that. Instead, she hung out with 3 other white women. And that's it. And all the guys they dated were white guys. Except for like towards the end, I think that Samantha dated a black guy, and I think Miranda dated a black guy one time. But yeah, like, no diversity there. So, you know, if you're gonna make it diverse just to say we have a person of color, that's not fun. I don't like it. That's not cool. But if you're gonna have diversity there because you recognize we're in a place where people of color exist, so it makes sense to have people of color, then that's something I can totally get behind. And I'm really glad they gave this added context to things, so that it made sense for there to be so many different types of people on this island. Especially because there were a lot of people who looked like they were of mixed heritage. And when you're talking about colonizers, you are talking about having a lot of individuals that would be considered mestizos and mulattoes and quadroons and octoroons and all these different kinds of mixture percentages. So I really, really appreciate that for this movie. But overall, this movie was cute. It really was. I have seen some shitty live action Disney stuff. The live action Pinocchio is actually literally a hate crime.
I didn't watch it.
It is
god awful. It is the worst. A lot of people criticize a lot of the other live actions, but I can tell you from the bottom of my soul, the live action Pinocchio is the worst thing that Disney has done in the last 10 years, and Tom Hanks should be ashamed of being a part of that fucking movie.
The
It
live
is
action
awful.
Beauty and the Beast also wasn't very good.
It wasn't very good, but at least it was like passable.
Yeah.
The live action Pinocchio was not even passable. It was actually very, very horrible. Del Toro put Disney's version to shame. Yes, indeed. Del Toro told a more nuanced story, a story kind of closer to the original, a heartbreaking story, really. The Del Toro Pinocchio, honestly, is something that you need to watch when you got your head on straight and when you're ready to like really peer into your feelings, because it doesn't have a happy ending. It has a hopeful ending, it has an open ending, but it is not a happy ending by any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, I think that this live action really did move in the right direction. I'll be sad if international audiences don't check it out because of racism. Like, that would really make me heartsick, because Halle Bailey is doing such a phenomenal job singing in this movie. Like, she really is pulling out all the stops when it comes to her voice. And it's something that deserves to be heard. And the acting is very cute in this movie. David Diggs does a great job as Sebastian. Like, Sebastian is a character I used to dread in the original. I love him in this movie. Flounder is a cute little boy, and he's not nearly as annoying as the Flounder was in the original movie.
I liked the bird less in this one.
The bird was not so great in this one. I like the original.
I like
Scuttle
the
more,
original
for sure.
bird.
But yeah, it's a really cute movie, and it really made me feel things. And I don't think it just made me feel things because of my attachment to the original, even though that was a huge part of it. It made me feel things because they actually got quite a bit of it right.
Yeah.
And that matters. There was a little bit of a feminist slant to it that I thought was kind of corny, as much as I love feminist things. There was a part where King Triton towards the end tells her, you don't have to lose your voice to be heard.
But also it was bars, because tell me why a black woman is getting silenced for part of the movie. They took her voice? My people. I stand for my people, and I will not have my beautiful black queens be silenced anymore. And silenced for the white man. Think about it, America.
Javier Bardem is Spanish, I think he might be a person of color. I think he might be Mexican. I don't think he's Spanish. I think he's actually Mexican. Javier Bardem. Anyway, yeah. Kind of a bar. A white woman taking a woman of color's voice.
Think on that.
Yeah. And once again, we arrived to the reason why Disney is hated by DeSantis. But yeah, I thought it was a good movie, and there's gonna be
Spanish.
Oh, he is Spanish. Okay. I thought it was a good movie. I thought that it had a lot to offer to people who want to watch it. I think that if you are part of this, group of people who misappropriated the word woke and uses it to say basically anything that doesn't embrace whiteness, then you're not going to enjoy this movie. Whereas those of us who were rooting for Meghan when she married Prince Harry, and those
normal people,
people who like just enjoy a fucking story, I think you're gonna like this movie. I really, really do. So give it a look, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
You're a lot. You're a lot.
Honorable mention. All the sisters of Ariel. It was fun to see.
Yeah, homegirl from Bridgerton was one of the sisters.
Bridgerton girl was there.
Yeah, it was very cute.
I forgot her name. Isn't it like Simone something? I don't remember.
I don't recall, because I don't know the names of any of the actors from Bridgerton. Like, real talk. I don't know a single actor's name from that show.
I know there's the Regé Jean Carter.
Girl, I thought his name was Regine at first. And I'm like, oh, it's the same name as little Wayne's daughter.
Is it Ray? It's not Regé.
Regina. Anyway, I don't know any of them people from Bridgerton's voice. Name, yeah. But the girl from Bridgerton season 2, the older sister who was the main female lead, she is one of Ariel's sisters. It's nice. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk with you later. And again, congratulations to my baby. She graduated high school.
Yeah.
Wah! Okay then.
Reggie Jean.
Okay, bye.
Bye.